All right, let's just jump right in. Think about something you do, I don't know, dozens of times a day. Looking for information. Well, that simple act is going through maybe one of the biggest shakeups in history. We are leaving the world of blue links far, far behind. And the ripple effects? They're going to touch, well, pretty much everything.
And that really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. This isn't about some fancy new app or a slightly better search bar. This is so much bigger. It's being called not just a technological shift, it is a societal one. I mean, let that sink in. It really gets to the core of how we do our jobs, how we learn new things, even how we figure out what's going on in the world.
So what's the actual tech behind all this? What's the engine driving this massive change? Well, it's this mashup, this convergence of two huge things. The search engines we've used for decades, the ones that find links, and these new large language models, or LLMs, that actually generate answers. Just think about it for a second. Instead of getting a homework assignment of 10 links to read, you just get the answer, right then and there. We're moving from a tool that finds stuff to a system you can have a conversation with.
Okay, so where's the first place we're going to feel this? It's at work, in our professional lives. Let's dive into the future of work. Because what we're seeing is a shift from AI being just a tool, like a hammer, to it becoming, well, a teammate.
And right away, this creates a huge tension. It's like two sides of the same coin. On one side, you've got this incredible opportunity, right? AI as a cognitive collaborator, basically a partner for your brain. It could boost our productivity through the roof and let us focus on the big picture strategy. But on the flip side, there's a real serious risk, the risk of de-skilling. That's a fancy word for becoming so dependent on the AI that our own brains get a little rusty, that our critical thinking skills just start to wither away.
And look, this is not some far-off sci-fi future. This is happening right now. People are already using these things as professional co-pilots. Think about it. Drafting documents, proposals, even code. Summarizing just mountains of data in seconds. Getting key insights pulled out for them, and even getting advice on decisions in real time. Our job, the human job, it shifts. It's less about the grunt work of finding the info and more about the high-level work of deciding what to do with it.
And that brings up a really deep question, one you've got to ask yourself. What happens when these machines stop being just assistants and start actively shaping the outcomes? I mean, think about that. It completely changes the game when it comes to who's responsible, where creativity comes from, and what it even means to be an expert. All right, so this wave of change doesn't just stop at the office door. Nope. It's walking right into our schools, into our classrooms, and it's basically challenging everything we thought we knew about education. So that brings us to our second big area, the future of learning. And it's all about moving away from just memorizing facts and figures to actually finding real, deep meaning. And you'll see a pattern here. Just like with work, we've got this massive trade-off. The opportunity is just wow. Imagine a personalized AI tutor for every single student on the planet that could totally democratize high-quality education. But the risk? It's a bit sneakier. It's what's being called the erosion of struggle. I mean, if learning has no friction, if it's too easy, do we miss out on that deep, lasting understanding that you can only get from really wrestling with a tough idea?
So let's break down how AI is shaking up education. You can really see it in three big ways. First, there's just raw access. Getting instant, synthesized answers totally changes what homework even is. Second, customization. We're talking about AI tutors that can actually adapt the lesson to how you learn best. And third, engagement. Think about it. Instead of just passively reading a textbook, you could have an interactive dialogue with it. How cool is that?
So really, for any parent, any teacher, any student, it boils down to this one critical question. Are we going to use this amazing technology as a springboard to ask even bigger, deeper questions? Or is it just going to be a shortcut that kills the learning process before it even starts? The challenge for all of us is figuring out how to use AI to amplify our curiosity, not replace it. Okay, we've talked about our desks, we've talked about the classroom, now let's pull the camera way, way back. Let's zoom out to the 30,000-foot view. Our third section is about the future of society as a whole, and we're talking about the very foundations here, knowledge, trust, and power. And at this level, you can bet the stakes are even higher. On one hand, you have this beautiful dream of democratized knowledge, right? The idea that anyone, anywhere, can instantly tap into all of human understanding. But, and this is a huge but, that's balanced against a very real risk, that a tiny number of companies could end up with massive, concentrated power, basically controlling the information that billions of us see every single day.
This whole situation points to three really big systemic shifts that we all need to be watching. First, we're moving from sources to summaries. The AI gives you the answer, not the links. That makes it way harder to check where the info came from. Second, there's this idea of a bifurcated web. Imagine the internet splitting in two. One part is a high-quality, expensive, paywalled section used to train AI, and the other part is, well, the Wild West of everything else. And third, it all leads to more centralized control. All that power gets concentrated with the handful of companies that own both the search engines and the AI models.
And that forces us to ask maybe the biggest question of all. In a world where AI just gives us the answers, who decides? Who decides what's reliable knowledge? Who gets to be the ultimate referee of truth? That's not just a tech question. That's a question for all of us.
Okay, so we've looked at how this is changing work, how it's changing learning, and how it's changing society. But here's the thing. These aren't three separate stories. They're all tangled up together. They're all part of one big system. And to really get what's going on, you have to see the whole system.
And the key idea to understanding that system is something called a feedback loop. It's actually a pretty simple concept, but it has huge consequences. Basically, the output of one thing becomes the input for the next thing, and it creates this cycle, this chain reaction. You tweak one little thing over here, and it can cause a massive ripple effect over there.
And here's exactly how that loop works in our AI and information world. Check this out. Step 1. We, the users, start using AI search more and more. We stop clicking on as many websites. Step 2. That change in our behavior shifts the business models. Suddenly, websites and creators have to adapt to this new AI-first world. Step 3. Those new business models change the incentives for what kind of content even gets created in the first place. And then, step 4, and this is the kicker, the quality of that new content is what gets fed back into the AI to train it. So the reliability of tomorrow's AI literally depends on the choices we're all making today. You see? It's a big, self-reinforcing cycle.
Now, when you see a big, complex system like that, it's really easy to feel, well, kind of small. Like this is all just happening to us and it's out of our control. But listen, this is probably the most important point of this whole thing. The future of search and AI is not predetermined. None of this is set in stone. The future isn't just something that washes over us.
And that's because, and this is the crucial part, we are all part of that loop. Every single one of us. The choices you make every day, the tools you decide to use, the kinds of questions you ask the AI. Every single action sends a little signal back into that system. So I'm going to leave you with this final question. Now that you can see the system, what are you going to do to help shape it?